Welcome to another episode of Unzip, Reboot, and Leave podcast, URL podcast. Today we have Naeem Zafar, who is a coach, advisor, educator, entrepreneur, investor. But today, predominantly, we will talk about his persona, which he's doing. He's a teacher teaching entrepreneurship at the College of Engineering, UC Berkeley. So we will mainly talk about academics of entrepreneurship today. Welcome, Naeem bhai. How are you?
Good, yeah, good. Good to see you. Good to see you indeed.
Thank you. So without, fiddling around here and there, the first question, which a lot of people want to know, especially in this time, is entrepreneurship learnable or it is innate?
So I think to answer the question, I'd like to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are people born a musician or do they learn to play music? It's kind of like that. Some people have innate skills, and even with no training or little bit of training, they can be great musicians. Some people, like me, who have tried to take music classes, have never been able to succeed. It's not natural to me. It's not innate to me. Entrepreneurship is a little bit like that.
Right.
Some people are naturally have the mindset and the personality to be great entrepreneurs. Does a little bit of training and education helps? Absolutely. They make fewer mistakes. But some people, it's really about your personality and how you think, how you approach life. So it's more deeper question.
Right. Okay. Okay. So on that, little bit like deeper into this thing. So when someone is starting as an entrepreneur, okay, he's creative, he's starting his own ideas, etc. Do you propose an entrepreneur to write his own strategic plan all the time, or based on the nature of the business, he should hire an external consultant sometimes? I'm talking about like initial stage or the middle or later, whatever.
So let's answer that question by first clarifying what is the business plan. It used to be in 1990s a 30-page document which used to outline your various aspects of your business. But that's so last century. The business plan is the clarity between your two years, clarity in your head about some fundamental thing about did we find a white space? And by white space, we mean there's an unmet need. We understand fully why it has not been met until now. We understand exactly who needs you more. What is their alternatives today? And what's wrong with those alternatives? If you can define those three things, you can clearly see a white space. That thing will continue to evolve in your head as you talk to more customers, you observe more competition, you think about what to do next. So that is a clarity. You don't need to write this down. It is evolving, it's in your head. Once it's in your head, you can give a presentation in 10, 15 slides. You can explain in a 1-minute conversation. You can write it in a 1-page document. Doesn't matter. It comes out. But the clarity has to be here. So short answer to your question is no. You do not write it down. You continue to articulate it. You continue to clarify it and improve it. That's what good entrepreneurs do.
Right. Okay. So like entrepreneurs are like a creative by nature, so to speak. At least they have the inquisitiveness to search something which is not immediately available. Is it necessary to have an education for them, especially in the prestigious colleges? Because the reason I'm asking prestigious college means good student anyway they will attract. So they are attracting the IQ side of things. They are not attracting the other side of things.
So if you analyze and study entrepreneurs, none of that what you said matters. What really matters for entrepreneurs are different characteristics which got nothing to do with education or institution. It is a natural curiosity, it's resilience, its ability to see through the fog, It's ability to get people to do things for you with no money, which otherwise they will not do. It's charisma. But the biggest reason, above all those reasons, they have a chip on their shoulder. Something is driving them. Either they're not happy the way the world the way it is, or they have to prove to their father that he or she is better than him. Those are very good reasons, because that will drive you longer, faster, deeper than any other reason. It's usually not the money, not the fame, it's all these other reasons. So it's had nothing to do with which institution you go to, what education you have. It's that inner drive, which is hurting deep inside. We are all some kind of a misfit of society. That's why what we do, because it's not logical. If you're a normal person, you can make a good living doing a normal job. What's wrong with us?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I will go into that question. I have some very serious question on that, because I'm also kind of like a frustrated soul in that sense. That's why I'm into entrepreneurship. Okay, but I'm hoping, and like you, that we can solve many problems in the world. Okay, so on that first question is, can entrepreneurs reform ageism? Because there are a lot of ageism happening, not only in the hiring, in every like part of the society, and the way especially world is moving with less and less children being born, and people are living long. So can entrepreneurs really reform that?
So short answer is yes, but let's understand why is ageism there? Why does the ageism even happen? Ageism happen because people have a good data to believe that old people don't work as hard as young people. And old people may have some wisdom, but they have other complications in life, children, wives, husband. 22 years old, he's got only two things on his mind, and one of them is his company.
Yeah.
So that's the reason, and those reasons are true. So it's not that they're faking it. So ageism makes sense. Now, what entrepreneurs have to do is simply able to demonstrate through their action that they are more motivated because of the chip on the shoulder, whatever the reason, to doggedly pursue, like a dog with a bone. They won't let go of the bone. So that's what you have to demonstrate, because investors, they understand how to make money. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about how old you are. If they can see you can make us money, they're in. So one example I give is Bernie Wanderschmidt. He started a semiconductor company, Xilinx. He started at age 58. Company was very successful, went public. He was still running the company at 70 years old. I started my last company at age 58 and sold it at age 66. So yes, you can do it. It's all about how you come across, if I come across tired, अभी यार क्या बात कर रही है, बस सुबह से बैठे हैं, यार अच्छा बात हो रहेगा. So then obviously I'm not going to generate any enthusiasm, but I'm ready to tackle the world. So it's not ageism, it's how you come across, how you present yourself matters. And if you do properly, you overcome the ageism. Ageism is there for a reason. It's not BS. It's true. So you have to overcome it.
And like some people, maybe individually they are not capable of overcoming it, but entrepreneurs, if they like package it nicely or package it properly, then they can definitely help them.
They can help them, but at the end of the day, even if you're an old guy, but your metrics are showing that people want this product, the growth is happening, then people forget about ageism. Ageism is only to get in the door. Once you get in through the door, then it's your work which will matter. So don't think ageism is going to stop you. Get through the door. And how you get through the door? Results, numbers, they speak for themselves.
Right. Okay. All right. So when you are teaching this, definitely you are coming across engineering students, business students, or sometimes maybe humanity students, right, in entrepreneurship. So do their mindsets different, or their strategies different, or the way they see the world different, these engineers versus business versus humanities, let's say?
Yes. And that's why we always encourage to form teams. Because in a team, in a co-founding team, different perspectives are brought in. Engineers see things very black and white. They want a very structured way to take the idea forward. But what business people bring, some other aspects, some other layers of human psychology. So it's not about structurally proceeding step by step. That's good to have that framework. But at the end of the day, all entrepreneurs are what? Storytellers. You're telling a story to investors. You're telling a story to employee. You're selling a story to your wife and husband. You're selling a story to a customer. So if you're not a good storyteller, and storytelling is what? Reading other person's reaction, changing the story and the character and the level of enthusiasm. There's a lot of things that are happening. Engineers usually are not good at reading those signals. They're structured. So you need a combination of both kinds of people.
Right. This storytelling, as you mentioned, sometimes, I feel, maybe I'm wrong, it's like overhyped, because because we don't understand if the story is good, or the tailor is good, or the orator behind it is good, or, so whatever is like attract towards us, we kind of feel to get closer to that. But maybe that's not the truth. Maybe that's not the right story. Maybe that's not the story for me, even. So,
Yeah.
so this like storytelling, is it like bit hyped, or that's the
So,
only way to go,
that's the only way to go is the short answer, but let's analyze it further. Story could be told through charisma and a person engaging you, or story could be told with numbers. If you want to get my attention as an investor, show me 7 slides, all going up to the right. And don't say a word. There's a slide 1, you see it, 2, 3, I'm done, in or out. That's my whole story. So it doesn't mean that you should an animated story like an actor and George Clooney and you're attracting me. No, story could be just numbers. The 7th slide could be number of customers per month going up. How many minutes they spend on your site going up. Revenue per quarter going up. That's the story I need. I don't need anything more than that. Sign me up.
Okay. Maybe this is like a Silicon Valley speech, In our world, it's not like that,
It should be like that.
It
This
should
makes
be like
sense.
that,
It's
but it's not
logical.
like that. Okay. Now, uh, we all understand that money or security, so to speak, is oxygen for all entrepreneurs, right? So
Yep.
we need a bit of a cushioning. Now, how much is too much, or how little is too little? Because from my experience, I have seen it's all in the mindset and interest. I haven't seen, maybe 1 or 2 examples, maybe, where really money kind of played a role. Rest all the places, as you said, like chip on our shoulder. So how much is too much, or how little is too little?
So which money? The money to make as a entrepreneur or the money to ask investors, which money?
Let's say I'm talking about, if you want to like go into something, you need some kind of a cushioning behind you, right? That level of money for survival, let's say. That sometimes maybe your partner's job, or a little bit of cash in your bank, or you saved up to invest into something.
Okay, well, that's usually not enough to start a real scalable business. That could be good to start a cigarette shop or a panwala.
Yeah.
But if you really want to make a scalable company, you're going to probably need more money than you have in your savings account. So
Yes.
the answer to your question is
But
there's
you will only can reach there when you already started with a panwala or a cigarette shop, right?
no.
Not really.
It's,
Okay.
it's all about the what story are you telling? For example, if you're building a new chip for AI processing engine like NVIDIA,
No. Then yeah.
You know, you're
Mandala,
gonna
we go nowhere. Yeah.
need tens of millions of dollars to get there. But so any scalable business, because Silicon Valley, we think big, we think the world, we don't think small.
Mm.
So the answer to your question is a good one, that how much money should you be raising?
Yeah.
And answer is you need to compute what is the next de-risking point. See, in the beginning, you have an idea. Company has a lot of risk. You have execution risk, technology risk, business model risk, market size risk, all the risk. So let's say after 6 or 7 months, you can bring it down to you have a working prototype. You still have the business model risk, customer risk, marketing, but at least technical risk is somewhat mitigated. Company valuation jumps. Then 1 year later, you have 5 paying customers. You have reduced the risk down further. Company valuation jump. So you compute how long would it take to go to the next de-risking point? Let's say 7 months. Since you know it takes about 6 months to raise money, you'll raise enough money to stay alive for 7 plus 6, 13 months. Then you compute what is the next de-risking point. Oh, it's 11 months. So 11 plus 6, I need to raise enough money to stay alive for 17 months. So you compute that number. So it's not a matter of too high or too much. You compute the number by looking at how many people you need to hire, what is a typical salary would be, how much money we need to have so I can get to the next de-risking point.
So asking the money up to the next de-risking point or next to next two? No, just one.
Because A, nobody will give it to you. B,
Okay.
you'll dilute too much. You'll end up giving too much ownership. You want to get to the next de-risking points, the company valuation jumps up. So then you will have to give up less equity to raise the next round. So it's not uncommon for a company to be successful, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of funding over a period of time.
Right.
So it's not uncommon.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, little different question, but still on that. I was doing a bit of a research, and it's scary. Like, we are very small fish in the big ocean. When like Nokia is coming and going like a dust, it's very scary sometimes. So typical business cycle these days is like 10 years to 30 years, right? Doesn't matter whether it is a listed company or not. So how should entrepreneurs evaluate short-term versus long-term impact in their own ventures? Like for me, I like to think my thinking is like, for eternity, but it doesn't.
Well, I think the question is, what is the expectation of your investors? You may have a very long-term perspective, but investors, when they invest money, they need to see some way to cash out.
Right.
In about anywhere from 5 to 8 years. Because they...
Okay, that period is also very calculated, 5 years to 8 years. Okay.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean the company is dead, but investors have to find a cash out. How can they cash out? 2 ways. Either company goes public, so you can sell the shares on the stock market, or a company is acquired by somebody else. So when you venture funds is a 10-year partnership. The first 1 or 2 years, they find companies to invest. Then the next 5 or 6 years, they grow the company. Hopefully, the last 2 or 3 years, they're trying to sell the company and exit because they're investing other people's money. They have to return the money back to their investors. So there's a finite time frame for you to accomplish an exit.
Okay, so it doesn't matter like what I'm thinking. Maybe my thinking is there and my projectile will be that way. But when the investors are coming, it's actually this life cycle.
If you don't want that hurry up and one investor, then you don't go to investor. Then you raise money from own savings or some other, so because that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this question I really like to ask, and I ask many people. So I started 10 years back my business as a IT recruiter because I thought that there are many things can be done in that industry. And I'm a failed recruiter. Okay, I'm not doing that anymore. And what I learned in that journey is a lot of keywords, a lot of like a CV tweaking things, and a lot of AI tools are coming to, see your CV and all these things. none of these actually come close to understanding a human being, their purpose, their interest, their, you know, whatever way, they will get like optimum success. Can you see entrepreneurs really solve this problem with whatever tools or technology?
So short answer is yes. And guess where a lot of what makes it a lot easier today than ever before is
Mhm.
AI.
It's what?
AI,
AI, okay.
artificial intelligence. AI is very good at looking at a whole bunch of data, synthesizing it, and able to create specific steps and opinions about what to do next. So AI is integrated into every single industry right now. See, if you look back 25, 30 years ago, the way we did business in 1980s completely got transformed the way we did business in 90s and then 2000 because of the internet. It was a huge change. AI is a similar change, except bigger. If I tell you, and some of you will be skeptical when I say this, AI is underhyped.
Underhyped.
You have no idea what's about to hit you. It's much bigger, much more profound, much more scary than you think it is. So this, we have to ready for that. And there's a profound impact on society, on jobs and people, how we start businesses. So in Silicon Valley, where I live, we are all over it. Like the course I was just finished teaching after talking to you was about AI in business. And in the class, we analyzed 2 companies using AI, different tools, looking at all the financial data, all the analyst forecast, and we asked ChatGPT, Gemini, we asked Claude, we asked Meta AI the same question and got very detailed answer. All happened in 20 minutes. So it's very profound. It's underhyped.
Wow. Wow. So that means like decision making will be much faster, deeper,
Much worse. And
and who knows what industry will be
will it
wiped
be
out in a flash.
a few days?
Sorry, it was disconnected. Can you please repeat that?
Yeah. I said, but let's take an example of applying for a bank loan. Today, it takes bank a few days to look at your loan application, come up with a decision. Some loan officer has to look at it. But all that data is available the moment you even call the bank. So very shortly, in a few months, you'll see a voice-activated chatbot, and it'll talk to you and ask a bunch of questions about your business, what you need the loan for, where have you been worked. It will automatically fill out the application, will automatically collect all the data about you and the business in seconds, and able to give you approval within minutes. All the pieces are here. It's already starting to happen. That's just one example. All this thing which you do on IVR, interactive voice response, when you call airline, they say, press 2 for customer support, press 3 for this, press 1. All that's going to disappear. You'll be talking to Jennifer, who'll talk very good English or Tamil or whatever language you speak in your language, and she'll be pleasant and has a lot more patience. She does not get frustrated. She'll talk to you. She'll even ask you, how are you doing today? What did you eat? Good breakfast today? And she'll give you all the information. And there'll be 10,000 copies of Jennifer. So everybody will have a private time. There's no waiting. This is happening right now. We're building it.
Right, right. So that means, yeah, one way it's definitely many things will be easier, and the other side, who knows how many industries will be wiped out in a flash.
Yeah, yes, you're right, but not in a flash, because the adoption will be slower because of people, connectivity, access to thing, and it's very, very expensive right now, all
Right.
the AI. So a bunch of things have, so it won't be in a flash, but over the next 5 to 10 years, it'll be profound changes how we work and how we live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Okay. Okay. So, have you seen, because you are in Valley for last 3, 4 decades, Have you seen any like leadership style evolved in entrepreneurship? Like previously, it used to be more traditional. Now it's more risk taking, or creative people are more into the forefront. Conscientious people are a little bit backseat. Have you seen anything like that?
Yes, there are profound changes happening, how we manage people, how we start companies, how we solve problems. So what are those, some are two or three interesting changes? Let's observe them. One observation is before geography mattered, it no longer matters as much. So you had to be in a certain city. If you want to be in financial services, you got to be in New York City or London. You got to be in this entertainment movie industry, you got to be in Hollywood or someplace like that, or technology in Silicon Valley. Because of connectivity, broadband, internet, Slack, whole bunch of things, you can have key employees anywhere and still be productive with Zoom, like we and I talk on Zoom. So that's one aspect. Geography matters much less than it used to. Number two, the barriers to start a company have been lowered so dramatically that anybody can start a company. Before, when I was starting first companies, first $3 to $4 million went to buy computers and servers. Now you can rent it on AWS or wherever for $100 a month. So anybody can start a company from anywhere. It makes it so much easier. All the APIs, all the tools had made it so much easier. So that's the second change. Number three, people are living, in wherever they feel more comfortable, the quality of life. So talent is where talent lives. So good thing we get able to connect with them. So the amount of money you need to start a company has come down. So many more people are able to start companies. And you can sell worldwide. See, imagine before 10, 15 years ago, you wanted to sell your company, your software, you had to have distribution and make CDs for every country. And how do you collect money in Botswana? How do you collect money in Brazil? The currency in exchange, like, well, just forget about it. App Store made it completely easy. You can sell in any country and get revenue, all the translation figured out. So it's so much easier. So all the barriers have come down slowly. So it has changed the whole equation of how you think about starting a company, scaling the company, and how easy it is. It's really a different ballgame.
Right. Here, one question is like, because I actually came from a manufacturing background from India, and now India is also kind of going into service or manufacturing, whatever. The country I live in, Australia, it's predominantly service-oriented company. What my observation is, all the IT related stuff we are doing in AI or in like building a product or anything like that, I guess most of the time we are on a distribution side of things. No, we are not actually on the like a manufacturing side of things, because in today, whatever you do, either you will be hooked with AWS or Azure or so they are the manufacturer. We are just the distributors in various forms.
Yeah.
So and they are getting more and more rent seekers. Is there any like, can this biasness, or can this like educated elite break this whole cycle?
Well, so it's not that manufacturing disappeared. It because manufacturing got consolidated. It was efficiency and scaling. I mean, to do all the things we do every day, we still need machines, whether they're cars or coffee makers or
Yeah, all those mundane stuff. Yes.
yeah. So those, but it's just so consolidated that innovation is happening on top of those things. So it's not the car, how do you design a car, but how a car can do, how do you software update the car? That makes it more interesting. Autopilot, automatic braking, driver safety, there have become software features on top of that. So manufacturing is still there. And by the way, fear not, because I'm a hardware engineer by training. What's the most exciting things happening in the next 20 years is robotics. Why is essential? Because in many parts of the world, the population is declining. You need 2.1 childbirth per woman to maintain the population. Japan is 1.2 birth per woman. China is 1.3, but they don't even report the full number. It's probably less than that, one-child policy. Europe as a whole is 1.6. Italy is 1.2. So we need robotic help. In the future, very near in the future, most of your military will be robots.
Yeah.
Why send a human being, which is very expensive? Why not send? Already all the Air Force is mostly drones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drones going and doing all the things Air Force used to do, so it's much cheaper. And most of the soldiers will be robots. And most of the people in your home, your people cleaning your bathroom and hotel will be robots. Maybe even waiters and waitresses will be, not quite, at least for fine dining. So my point is, we need the robot even taking care of old people in the old people homes and nursing and food delivery and whatnot. So the robotic revolution will recreate this renaissance in hardware. So services are important, but hardware is also coming back in a new shape and
Right. Okay. How do you foresee entrepreneurship education evolving in next 5 to 10 years?
so it will become ubiquitous. That's the short answer. The long answer is our parents' generation, if you look at the statistical data, they had 3 jobs in their lifetime, some even less. My father, if I count my father, it was 3 jobs, yeah. Our
Like
children,
three jobs in his
in their
lifetime.
career, in 40,
Okay.
40, 50 years they worked, he worked for 3 employers.
Okay. Yep.
That's like normal, some people for 1 employer, but like 3 was average. Our children, which are now going to work, they will have 21 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the job is, you have to be a specialist to able to be useful.
Mm-hmm.
So this already happened in some industries. If you look at the movie industry, film industry, in 1940s and 50s, people worked for a studio. They had an employment contract as a director, as an actor. Now they don't work for a studio. They're all specialists. They go in, they make a movie. The cameraman is a specialist. Look at the doctors and surgeons. Surgeons work for themselves. They just go to doctor, they do one procedure, this hospital do another procedure, they get paid per procedure. This is the future for all of us. So all of us, when we're specialists, we're doing gigs. We're entrepreneurs. We have to figure out how to promote ourselves, how to collect, how to, pay checks. So all of us will be in this shift to average kid going to school today will be an entrepreneur in some fashion. So entrepreneurship education, it became very prevalent. Every university now talking about an entrepreneurship and trying to teach the fundamental concepts. So that's my short answer was, it's becoming ubiquitous.
Right. Okay. So from your experience, we are almost end of it. So with your experience, what are the next big inflation we can see? Is it in education? Is it in technology? Is it in agriculture, or everything?
Unfortunately or fortunately, it's all of the above. Because of this AI revolution, if you ask yourself, which industry is the internet impact?
Yeah.
So this is bigger than internet.
Yeah.
It's all of the above. Question is, where is it starting? Okay, you'll find this amusing. What is the most important job in the world, or what is the first job which we have delegated to AI? And answer is, it is the most powerful. It's not the taxi driver. It's not that. The most powerful in the job is the editor of a newspaper, because editor selects what should be printed, what story should not be told because it's not verified. So the editor of New York Times or Hindustan Times was a very powerful position. It shaped what people believed and saw. Who is the editor of TikTok? Who is the editor of Facebook? It's not a human being. We don't know their name. It's an algorithm.
Yeah.
So these algorithms are making decisions by themselves. They decide what to promote, what content to push with people will, and the algorithm figured out themselves the content which gets sticky is hatred, is division, fear, all that stuff that people really engages people. So guess they're multiplying. So we have delegated the job to an algorithm prematurely, too soon, maybe.
Maybe.
So that's a question which we haven't understood, haven't grappled with. So Yuval Noah Harari, the famous author of *Sapien*, he talks about this. So I'm resonate with what he's saying. So this is the point: is that we have to. And he gives an example that Stalin, before he was a dictator of Soviet Union, he was a newspaper editor. Mussolini was a journalist, turned a newspaper editor, then became the dictator. And even the French Revolution, the characters, they came from being an editor newspaper. So that's a very important job. So we have to think about what other jobs are being delegated. Do we have enough checks and balances? Does it make sense? Agriculture, tractor, automatically, robotically picking up stuff. When you plant, looking at the soil, the nitrogen level, and then plant the seed. What should be planted in this patch of land because of moisture and soil analysis? How often to water it? Which pesticide should we inject? All will be AI driven. So that's just one industry. I can talk about every industry. Very, very interesting stuff happening.
So that means then to solve these or to combat these, the ethics will also be driven by AI?
Yeah. And that's a question which we have to question, because does AI, let's take an example. Suppose you're driving on a bridge. It's a big ditch, 200 meters ravine, and suddenly you see an object in the middle of the road. So you're going at high speed. You can hit the object. There's a 20% chance that the passenger will die. But if you avoid the object, there's a 90% chance you'll fall and everybody will die. What decision will you make? It's a decision has to be written by AI. Who wrote the algorithm? What if the object was a person? Will you make a different decision? What if it was an old man, like 75 years old? What decision will you make? What if the object was a 10-year-old girl? What if it was a dog? We know what the decision will make if it was a kangaroo. So this has to be coded in AI. So it becomes very complicated and very interesting. How do you make those decisions, ethical decisions?
Can we really do that? Can we really codify all these variations?
I think so. Somebody has to codify. I mean, you have to codify something. Somebody's writing the algorithm. If this, then do that. If you see an object, apply the brake or go around it or swerve. Yeah. Somebody has to code it.
Okay.
And it's a good question in ethics.
Yeah.
How will you decide?
So our life will be what?
Complicated.
That's what Vivekananda also said, after doing everything for humanity, end up being more and more complicated. So on that, we can end. Naeem bhai, thank you for your time. Thank you for this lovely talk. We will talk in future on that VC funding bit, only on that, because a lot of startups in Melbourne are also interested to that, and a lot of people like us who also wants to get in touch with Silicon Valley. So hopefully we will be able to do in a collective way.
Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.